Hello everyone, myself Dr. Jyoti Gangurde, Assistant Professor of Zoology, KTHM College, Nasik. Today we are going to discuss on the topic that is female reproductive system. Now here, the female reproductive system, which consists of a pair of ovaries, then a pair of lateral oviduct, a median, or it is also called as a common oviduct, a spermatheca, and accessory sex gland. Now, in case of Ephemeroptera, the lateral oviducts, they do not fuse and they do not open into the median oviduct as found in most of the insects, but both open directly through paired gonopores on the 7th sternum. In other insects, the median oviduct opens through a gonopore on the 8th sternum. In case of Lepidoptera, here they are found amongst which the latter gonopore represent a true genital orifice. Now, the median oviduct which modifies posteriorly close to the gonopore into a genital chamber, or it is a vagina or the bursa copulatrix, for perception of the intromittent organ of the male. The spermatheca opens into the genital chamber, and in some cases it is provided with a spermatical gland. Now, the ovaries are mesodermal organs. The lateral oviducts are partly derived from both, that is mesoderm as well as ectoderm, and rest of the organs are ectodermal origin, or they are exclusively ectodermal in their origin. Now, all the organs, that is starting from the ovaries, lateral oviduct, common oviduct, bursa copulatrix, accessory glands, they differ in their size, in their shape among different group of insects. Now, we first come to the ovarioles. Now, here you can see the comparative anatomy of the ovaries. Here you can see in this diagram, in case of, again, this is the ovary of Odonata. Then the B diagram is of the Orthoptera. Then C diagram, it is of the Dictyoptera, that is Periplaneta. D diagram, it is of the Lepidoptera. Then here the E diagram, or this system is of Coleoptera, whereas the F diagram of Hymenoptera, particularly the genus Apis. Then here you can see the G diagram is of the Diptera. Now this is what all regarding here, and again the H diagram, it is of the Coleoptera, that is Mylabris postulata, or it is the reproductive system of the beetle, that is Mylabris postulata. Now, here you can see the ovaries. Now, the ovaries are prominent visceral structures situated on either side or above the alimentary canal. Now, anterior end of each ovary gives out a long thread-like suspensory ligament, of which the other end is attached to the dorsal body wall or dorsal diaphragm. The ovarioles are covered with the fat body and richly supplied with the tracheates. Now, such ovarioles, they covered by means of a thin meshwork of the tracheates. Now, the ovaries are composed of large number of tubules, or the egg tubes. Okay, so we are discussing on the ovarioles. In that, such a ovary which is composed of large number of tubules, or the tubes, or the egg tubes, and such a tubule, such a egg tubes, they are commonly termed as ovarioles. So what is meant by ovarioles? The ovarioles, they are nothing but, or they contains a large number of tubules or the egg tubes. Now, such ovarioles are the functional units of the ovary inside which the development of the female gametes, that is the process of oogenesis, takes place, and finally the ova are discharged into the lateral oviduct. Now, all the ovarioles of an ovary are alike, means they are not similar in external as well as internal anatomy. So, they are externally enclosed by a double layer coat consisting of an outer tunica externa and inner layer of tunica propria. Now, the tunica externa is formed from the fat body, whereas the tunica propria, which represents simply an elastic peritoneal membrane with some fine fibrils. Now, the number of ovarioles constituting in ovary differs from species to species. Now, the ovary is composed of a single ovariole in case of, here you can see, in case of Termitoxenia and Coprini. Now, after that, 2 ovarioles in Glossina and Hippobosca, 4 ovarioles in Lepidoptera, and 360 ovarioles in Apis, whereas 1200 ovarioles in Army and Iciton, and near about 2000 ovarioles they are reporting in case of termite queen of uterus. Now, this is what are the number of the ovariole they are present in different group of insect. Now, here you can see again the regions of the ovariole. Regions of ovariole. So, each ovariole can be differentiated into 4 regions. Anteriormost terminal filament, then second germarium, third vitellarium, and the last one is the pedicel. So, which opens into the oviduct. Then the pedicel contains internally the epithelial plug which breaks at the time of ovulation, and sometimes it is largely developed forming the calyx. Now, the regions of the ovarioles, they represent the parts such as terminal filament, the germarium, then vitellarium as well as the pedicel. So, we can see all the parts one by one. So, here the terminal filament is separated from the germarium by a transverse septa, and it is mostly an apical prolongation of peritoneal layer and contains a mass of nuclei with scanty cytoplasm. So, this is what about the terminal filament. Now, the second region of the ovariole is the germarium. Now, the germarium is a short but cellular division of the ovariole. So, it contains primordial germ cells, then profollicular cells, and in some insect, the nutritive cells. Now, the primary oocytes are completely arranged in the germarium. So, it is the most active site of the oogenesis. So, germarium is the region which is the active site of the what we say is that the oogenesis. Now, the third region of the ovariole is the vitellarium. Represents a large part of the ovariole, and it is characterized by containing a large number of growing oocytes arranged in a linear fashion. So, each developing oocyte is enclosed in a follicle of the epithelial cells and are separated from one another by interfollicular tissues. Now, in some insects, each oocyte is provided with a group of nutritive cells or the tropocyte. Now, the oocyte's development occurs in antero-posterior direction inside the vitellarium and the finally inside the vitellarium, and finally the fully grown ovi are provided with two membranes, that is outer chorion and the inner vitellin. So it is the site of vitellogenesis. Now the last or the fourth region of the ovariole is the pedicel. Now pedicel represents a stalk of the ovariole in the form of short duct providing a passage to the ova from the vitellarium to the lateral oviduct. So, it is composed of tall epithelial cells and bears a large lumen, but the upper end is enclosed till the time of release of the first ovum from the ovariole into the lateral oviduct. Now, these are what the regions of ovariole. So, you can see in this diagram also. Here you can see this is the terminal filament. Here you can see the oocytes, they are in the different developing zones, different developing stages, and here you can see this part. It is nothing but the pedicel. So, this is what the region of the ovariole. Now we are focusing on the types of oocyte. So, the types of oocyte or the types of such a ovariole. So, here you can see types of ovariole. Here, the ovarioles can be distinguished into two principal categories. The panocytic containing no nutritive cells, or the tropocytes, and the meroistic containing the tropocytes. So, the meroistic ovarioles are subdivided into again two subtypes, that is the polytrophic and telotrophic, according to the location of the tropocyte in the vitellarium or the germarium respectively. Now, here the types of ovariole such as panocytic ovariole, then polytrophic ovariole as well as telotrophic ovariole. So, the panocytic type of ovariole, here you can see in the diagram also, this A diagram is of the panocytic type of ovariole. So, the panocytic ovariole, in some insect, the ovarioles are devoid of nutritive cells, and the development of oocyte in the vitellarium takes place with the assistance of follicular epithelial cells only. Such a type of ovarioles occur in case of Pterygota, Ephemeroptera, Odonata, Lycoptera, Dictyoptera, Orthoptera, Isoptera, Thysanoptera, and Siphanoptera. So, now this is what about the panocytic type of ovariole. Now the B type or the second type of ovariole is of the polytrophic type of ovariole. Now here the developing oocytes within the vitellarium are alternating with the nerve cells. Here you can also see here these are the developing oocytes and they are alternating with the nerve cells. So here they participate in the vitellogenesis, that is the yolk deposition. Here it is the posterior or in the posterior part of the germarium. The oogonia undergo some divisions and produce only a single posterior oocyte and anterior variable number of tropocytes. The number of tropocytes increases in accordance with the number of mitotic divisions undergoing oogonia. So, an oocyte is with a single tropocyte in case of Dermaptera, then 3 in Mecoptera, 7 in Aedes, that is Melophagus diptera and Bombyx, then Hylophora in case of, that is 15 in case of Drosophila, Dytiscus, and so on. So, the initial oogonia which undergoes division, it is called as a stem cell. Now, in Drosophila, it gives rise to a cytoblast and another stem-line oogonium which divides 4 times, producing a cyst of 16 cells and 15 tropocytes, whereas only one oocyte. Now, all tropocytes are connected with their individual canals with posterior oocyte. Now, or such a condition called the ring canal or intercellular strand or also that is fusomes. Now, the follicular cells form a follicular epithelial covering around and between the cyst, and then they are released into the vitellarium as a successive follicle. As vitellogenesis proceeds, the size of oocyte increases while that of the tropocyte gradually decreases. So, the polytrophic ovarioles are found in Dermaptera, Anopleura, Socoptera, among again Hemimetabola and all Holometabola except Siphanoptera and Polyphaga as well as Coleoptera. So, here you can see in this B diagram, this is the diagram of polytrophic ovariole. So, each vitellarium which alternate with the tropocyte. Now, at the such a oocyte which get mature, which increase in size, the amount of tropocyte which get reduced or which get decreased. Now, this is what about the polytrophic ovariole. Now, the last type of or the third type of ovariole, that is telotrophic or acrotrophic ovariole. So, the telotrophic or again the such acrotrophic ovariole, in that the tropocytes are situated into the germarium. Here you can see the tropocyte, these are the tropocytes, and here you can see the tropocytes and here oocyte, alternating stages of the second type, that is polytrophic, and in case of third type, here you can see such a tropocytes, they are present at the apical region. Now, the tropocytes are situated into the germarium and are connected with the growing oocyte of vitellarium through the cytoplasmic canal, or such a canal which is called as a trophic core or which is also called as a nutritive cord. So, they occur in case of Heteroptera, Hemiptera and Polyphaga as well as Coleoptera. Both the vitellarian oocytes and tropocytes are known to be derived from the stem-line oogonia in the germarium. So, in some cases, there are no trophic cords can be seen, particularly in case of Coleoptera. So, exception to Coleoptera. So, majority of insects such as Heteroptera, Hemiptera, Polyphaga, so they show the presence of the nutritive cord to the developing oocyte. Now, this is what about the telotrophic type of ovariole. Now, after that, come to the next part of the female reproductive system, that is the lateral oviduct. So, the lateral oviducts, here such oviducts are longer tubular structures of mostly uniform diameter. So, the wall of oviducts, which is composed of inner layer of cuboidal or columnar epithelial layer, middle basement membrane and outer muscular layer. So, the apical region of oviduct modifies into the accessory glands in case of acridoidea, while entire ducts are secretory in the in case of locustidae and in case of Sterapsis. Now, this is what about the lateral oviduct. Now, the next part, such a lateral oviduct from both sides of the ovaries, they unite to form a short, a common oviduct. Now, such a oviduct, it is nothing but the common oviduct, or it is nothing but the median oviduct. Now, the median oviduct, it is a short but broad duct receiving anteriorly the lateral oviducts, and posterior most part of the duct modifies into a sac. The genital chamber. Now you can see also in the diagram the genital chamber, or it is also called as a bursa copulatrix. The genital chamber in some insects produces a tubular extension called as the vulva or the vagina. Now, median oviduct is ectodermal in origin, and internally the epithelium is lined with the cuticle, so it bears a strong muscular coat composed of circular as well as longitudinal muscle fibers. Now, the median oviduct, which is followed by the next part of the female reproductive system, that is nothing but the spermatheca. So, the spermatheca is ectodermal structure and develops as an invagination of the 8 sternite. So, it is a single most of the insect, but there are 1 or 2 spermatheca. They are present in case of Odonata, they are present in case of Blaps, or in case of Coleoptera, again in case of Lebotomus, Diptera, and 3 numbers of such a spermatheca they are reported in higher dipteran flies like Phagoletis. Now, spermatheca which differ in shape, size and structure among different insects. So, it is spherical or either oval sac-like structure bearing a straight tube called as a spermathecal duct, and sometimes a diverticula which modifying into the gland. That is nothing but the spermatical gland. So, in some cases, the gland is wanting or absent, and the spermatical epithelium secretes the nutrients for the sperm or for the sperm stored in the spermatheca. So, the spermatical duct opens into the genital chamber, or in its absence into the vagina. So, such a spermatozoa. You can also see in this diagram spermatheca. This is the structure of spermatheca in case of Apis. Then here you can see in different number of group of insect. So, the spermatozoa are stored in spermatheca of the female as the eggs are extruded from the oviduct. The sperms are released, and after coming in contact, the fertilization is induced. The sperm can be stored alive for even a year together, as found or reported in case of termite queen. So, in case of termite queen, the sperm storage capacity in case of spermatheca is here about 1 year. The next part followed by the spermatheca is the female accessory gland. So, there are such a female accessory glands are ectodermal structures, or they are ectodermal in their origin, which develop from the genital chamber or the vulva, as found in case of Dictyoptera. Then mesodermal accessory glands which develop from the lateral oviduct in case of Acridiidae, Locustidae. Now, such a accessory gland, they have often a single pair and contribute some secretory material used in synthesis of egg coat, and therefore such a structures they are called as collateral glands. So, in case of cockroach, the secretion of these glands contain protein, then beta glucoside of that is protocataquic acid, and enzyme oxidase and beta glucosidase. So, such a substances involved in the formation of cuticle. Now, the accessory glands secrete for this secretion, forming the egg pods in case of grasshopper, the gregarious egg sheath in case of Chironomus, or gelatinous egg sheath which is surrounding in case of Chironomus. Then the silk cocoon for egg in case of Hydrophilus, and poisonous secretion in a large number of hymenoptera. So, in the ants, however, they secrete the pheromones. So, the female accessory gland, they have different role or they have different functions. Now, this is what about the female accessory gland. Now, here, the last part of the female reproductive system, it is nothing but the genital chamber or the bursa copulatrix. So, here you can see in this diagram also. So, such a genital chamber, female genital chamber, it is often called the vagina or the bursa copulatrix. So, the site of coitus and the site of fertilization. So, it receives the spermatheca, median oviduct and bursa copulatrix and opens to the exterior through a well-defined opening, the female gonopore. So, it varies in anatomy and histology among again different group of insects. So, in viviparous dipteran flies, anterior part of the vagina is modified into a uterus for the larval development. The vagina, bursa copulatrix and spermathecae are the ectodermal structures developed together from the epidermal invagination of the mid-ventral region of the 8 abdominal sternum. Now, such a vulva and the other accessory structures are lined internally with cuticle and enveloped externally into a thick muscle coat. So, in some insects, in case of Odonata, the bursa copulatrix opens into the vulva or the vagina through a well-defined tubular connection called the bursa communis. So, you can see also in this diagram, here lateral oviduct from both sides they get unite to form a common oviduct. Here you can see the bursa copulatrix here. You can see the accessory sex glands or accessory glands are there. Again, you can see here, this is the vulva or this is the opening. Okay. So, these are the parts of the genital chamber or the female genital complex. So, this is all what about the female reproductive system of insect. Okay. So, we are continuing the next part in next lecture. So, thank you so much.